linebacker could blitz both A gaps, all right, to get to the backfield. So that is illegal. They cannot pull to allow their linebacker to shoot through that hole. The other time it can happen with defensive hold is they know the offensive lineman's trying to get to their linebackers, so they just pull down that offensive lineman to the ground. That would be defensive hold as well, and they cannot do that. All right, where are we at? Number 19, go for it.
Batting is the touching of a loose ball by a player in an unsuccessful attempt to secure possession. True. False. Muff is the term.
Let's see. Is that the definition of a muff? Okay. So batting is touching of a loose ball by a player in an unsuccessful attempt to secure possession. So that's the definition of muff of the ball. Where batting is you are intentionally striking the football to prevent it from going into the end zone, prevent it from being caught by another player, or prevent it from being recovered by an opponent. Okay? So this is an unsuccessful attempt. They're going for the football. They want to recover the football. They don't. So now we have muff. All right. Go for it, Jesse.
Effective 2026 arm sleeves, whether attached to a shirt or unattached, manufactured to enhance contact with the football or opponent, must meet SFIA specification at the time of manufacture. True? False? Oh, okay. Okay, you got me.
So number 20 is false because it's 2027. All right, I know we had a couple people come in here. We will, before we close everything, we're going to go back 1 through 19. So if you're coming in late, no worries. We'll cover the beginning again. And we will stay here until everyone logs in and passes if you're in the room. All right, number 21. Okay, Brendan?
A player remains out of bounds until returning to the field and no body part touching out of bounds. Is that true?
All right, that is true. All right, so if I go out of bounds because I'm blocked out of bounds, I leap and catch the ball and I'm in the air and I had not get back in bounds, I'm still out of bounds. All right, so now we have a out of bounds ball, incomplete pass. 22, Robert?
Just read it out.
The horizontal crossbar in the uprights above it shall be free from any decorative material except paint, which is recommended to be either silver, white, or yellow in color. True.
Be silver?
I hate these questions because I always wonder if the color is tricking us.
But I was wondering about silver.
I just worry about getting tricked. That's all. You know what I mean? Like the question trying to trick
Yep.
us.
It is silver, white, or yellow. True. I don't think I've ever seen silver.
That's what I was wondering too.
All right, so 22 is true. All right, Mr. Daniels.
No kick may be legally batted. Legally batted?
So kickball bounces going over the. Can I bat it back into the field of play? Right? If I'm trying to down you at the 1.
Yes.
Not if it's not over the goal line, but I bat it. Like
it can be legally batted.
Yeah, right?
True.
Right? That makes sense, right?
True.
Right, and we ignore that, right? Right.
Yep. All right, so no kick may legally be batted. That's false because we can bat a kick.
Yeah.
The
question just was.
We're good. All right, number 24, Cliff.
A multiple foul is one or more live ball fouls other than non-player or unsportsmanlike. I'm gonna say true.
So it's false.
Because it says one.
This
Oh, one.
should be
Yep.
two or more.
Yep.
All right. So multiple foul is number 24 is false because it's two or more. Two or more.
Yeah.
All right, JD.
25. Visiting team is responsible for avoidance of similarity of colors, but if there's doubt, the referee may require the players of the home team to change jerseys. And I have true.
Do we have a rule reference? Beautiful jerseys.
I just did that one by me.
Common sense, fair play.
Yep, there it is. It's on page 21. 1, 5, 1, 3C on page 21. So that is true. All right. I will say if you have any uniform questions, please send it to whoever your assigner is and Nate Newhouse. So Nate Newhouse and that assigner can take care of it. Jordan?
Pass eligibility rules apply to both legal and illegal forward passes. False.
All right, false. What makes it false?
Illegal.
All right, illegal. Yep. All right. Back to the top 27. When the team commits a live ball foul followed by one or more dead ball fouls, all fouls may be penalized, and that is true. A live ball foul will be enforced with a dead ball foul. Zach, 28.
A scrimmage formation remains or requires a minimum of 5 A players legally on the line at the snap. I understand that that's true, but is that the wording for it? You just can't have more than 4 in the backfield?
Correct.
Same difference? Okay.
Because you need 5 numbered 50 through 79. And then even in scrimmage kick formation, you could have numbering exception, but you still need 5 linemen. So you always need 5 linemen on a scrimmage formation.
Understood.
Legally. Yeah. Didn't say that in there, but Matt?
The jerseys of the home team shall all be the same dark colors that clearly contrast with white. True.
All right. I have true on that one. Again, if there is any uniform discrepancies, please send it to your assigner and Nate. All right. Mr. Rouser?
It is not a touchdown when a loose ball is caught or recovered by a player while the ball is on or behind the opponent's goal line. I'd say that's false.
It's false because it is a touchdown when a ball is caught or recovered by a player while the ball is on or behind the opponent's goal line. All right, so that is 30's false. It is a touchdown. So question, well, we got plenty of time.
A foul can cause the loss of the ball. False.
False. Now the penalty for the foul can, so if it's 4th down and we have a loss of down, it's not the foul that caused them loss of the ball. It was the penalty for the foul was the turnover on downs due to not being awarded a new series. 32. Derek?
Protests of
nice.
NFHS rules are not recognized. True.
That is true. There are no protests in NFHS. All right. So far, we've been lucky in the state of Nebraska. People haven't even been able to take it to court and then protest via court. There are no protests, which is why it's important to take these tests and have conversations with your crews so we don't misapply the rules. Derek.
The basic spot is the previous spot unless Rule 852C applies for a foul by A or B when the related run ends behind the line of scrimmage where there is no change of possession. Sure. True?
All right, that is true. Anyone know what 852C is off the top of their head? No. A foul in the end zone. Yep. It would result in a safety. So 852C are fouls in the end zone that would result in a safety.
When properly placed, the goal line pylon is inbounds at the intersection of the sideline and goal line extended. And, true. Or is it? Oh,
Anyone have anything different? It's false
extended.
because
on the sideline. There we go.
it's out of bounds. Pylon is out of bounds when properly placed at the intersection. All right. 35.
An authorized conference is permitted during the 1-minute intermission between periods. I'm going to say yes.
I like it. And what's an authorized conference?
Between the head coach and
Yep. Not between the head coach and referee, but between the head coach and players. All right, so the head coach and players can conference during that 1-minute intermission period. Jesse.
It is illegal participation if a player is lying on the ground to deceive the opponent at or immediately before the snap or free kick. True?
I got to confirm the high school rule here. Yes. All right, so it's 964E. 964E. That is true. All right. So coaches, please do not spend time and put that play in your rule playbook. Go ahead, Brendan.
If a pool of water forces the referee to move the ball for K's free kick, the free kick lines may be less than 10 yards apart. I'm going to go false. I'm not sure.
I agree with that, because if we literally have to move the football a yard line because of the water, we move both free kick lines. So if we have to move it back a yard, we would let the returning team move up a yard as well. So it's always going to be 10 yards apart. I guess on a really muddy field, that can happen. Now that I think about it, I've been there before. Robert.
No player participating in the game will be allowed to wear any type of audio or video device in order to record or transmit audio or video. True?
All right, that is true. All right, so if you do see players covering up their ear holes in their helmet, that could be a red flag of maybe they have something in their ear being transmitted from the sideline into an ear pod or something like that. I know a college team got caught doing that. So that is illegal. They can't do that. They can't be wearing that type of technology. Arthur?
A backwards pass out of bounds is an illegal pass. That's false.
That is false. All right, a backwards pass is a legal pass. And if it rolls out of bounds, you just have a backwards pass out of bounds, and that will be the spot, and we're going to start it on the snap. Okay. Number 40, Cliff.
If an illegal forward pass strikes the ground, the ball remains alive. That's false.
That is false. So all we have there is an incomplete pass. We would have a foul, but we would still have an incomplete pass. All right, plenty of time still. Number 41, JD.
A football jersey does not need to completely cover the shoulder pads and all pads worn above the waist or the torso. False.
All right, false. Yes, we're not going to be perfect. Not every player is going to be perfect. We're looking for the egregious uniform violations. When you have time to cover up the shoulder pads, cover up the shoulder pads. If you have a coach that says, please don't touch my players, say, okay. All right. Try to use the teammates to cover up the shoulder pads. If they don't help you, just send the player out and say, Coach, I was trying to help you so your player stayed in. True story. All right, 42.
When a foul is committed with less than 2 minutes remaining in either half, the offended team will have the option to start the game clock on the snap. True.
When a foul is committed, less than 2 minutes remaining on half, the offending team will have the option to start the game clock on the snap. That is true. Sorry, I had to reread that. We could always go from a hot clock to a dead clock. They won't have the option to go from a dead clock to a live clock. Okay? All right, number 43, the referee's decisions are final in all matters pertaining to the game and any situation not specifically covered in the rules. That is true. All right, so that's like the catch-all. Like if you ever have a situation like, I can't find this anywhere in the rule book, Sean, this is the rule. All right. It's at the end of the day, it's up to the referee. And if you truly have that situation, bring it to our attention, because if there's a rule that has to be put into a rule book, that's how rules a lot of times have been added to the rule book. Like, hey, there's no rule on this. Where should a player lying on the ground deceiving the opponent fit? We'll put it in illegal participation. All right, so that's how rules are actually created. So, Zach?
A player cannot fumble before gaining possession. True.
True. All right, so this is very important on a snap, whether it be under center snap or a snap that goes back 3 yards. If that quarterback never possesses the ball, we're not throwing our beanbag because it's not a fumble. If there is a foul during that loose ball, it will be the previous spot. All right, so that's not considered a fumble. Matt, 45.
Game officials may use supplementary equipment to aid in game administration as authorized by the state association. True.
That's true. That's our O2O. That's our communication system that we use to communicate. All right. What's that? Ready ref? Yep, ready ref for back judges to keep play clock. Another example? Absolutely. 46. Austin.
After the ready for play, each player of A who participated in the previous down and each substitute for A must have been momentarily between the 9-yard marks before the snap. Is that false?
That is true. So we actually had this come up in our first game, and there was confusion of who was supposed to be in, who was not supposed to be in. So the intent of this rule is to not allow the offense just to sneak somebody onto the field at the last second. Because if you think about it, let's say the offense has 10 players. We recognize there's 10 players. The defense is playing against the 10 players that are in formation. If the offense just sneaks a receiver on inside or right off the sideline, outside the numbers, now the defense isn't going to see that. We call that the hideout play. So don't be black and white on confusion. You want to enforce this rule when the defense is confused. Oh, hey, where did this player come from? All right, so so we could be illegal substitution. It could be illegal that's what it's under, is illegal formation, because they never became a legal player. A 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. And remember, it's team A, only the offense. It's a live ball foul. Yep, illegal formation will be a live ball foul.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
All right, 47.
An offensive blocker is a player who is blocking or in a position to block by being between the potential tackler and the runner. True.
I love it.
Right. Towels must be a solid color, but do not have to be the same solid color for each player. Towels may not be the ball or penalty flag colored. True.
True. Okay, so some players could have white, some players could have black, some players could have blue, some players could have purple. It cannot be yellow, cannot be brown. So the streamers are illegal. Okay, so we're not paid to be fashion police. Get the egregious violators. You know, if it's a streamer but it's only 6 inches long and it's the same color as their game pants, I probably don't see it. Now, if it's 12 inches long and it's down to the knee and it's that player, all right, let's let that player know we're paying attention to them. Okay, that player in the canoe, the player that has to be my friend. All right, we're gonna make him our friend. All right, Derek.
There's a 2-minute intermission between each of the periods and follow a try, successful field goal or safety, and prior to the succeeded free kick. False?
That is false. What makes that false? It's 1 minute. All right, 1 minute. There might be some back judges that turn it into 2 or 3 minutes, but 1 minute is our goal. Okay, 1 minute is our goal. Got a couple chuckles there, so that's good.
3 minutes?
All right, number 50, last but not least.
Okay. Charge timeout occurs when the ball is dead and is the request of either a player or the head coach or head coach's designee. True?
That is true. And remember, a player is somebody who is on the field. All right, so it can't be a substitute player. A lot of times, or a head coach's designee, if a head coach goes up to the booth, they'll be like, all right, I'm in the booth. I am designating this assistant coach to be able to call timeouts. I am going to jump to section number 1. I have 20 minutes because I know a couple people came in late. All right, so again, if you're coming into the meeting late, you just came online, these questions are not in order. All right, so they are the same 50 questions, but they're not in order. So a foul during a try is not paired with a dead ball foul to create a double or multiple foul. That's true. All right, kick does not end when a player gains possession when the ball becomes dead while not in player possession. All right. A kick does not end when a player it does end when the player gains possession of the kick. A forward pass has gone beyond the neutral zone. If at any time during the pass some part of the ball is beyond the neutral zone, that's false. The whole entire ball. When in doubt, it's in or behind the neutral zone to protect OPI in an ineligible lineman downfield. When a player on defense uses a hand or arm, the hand may not be in advance of the elbow at the time of contact or at the shoulder or below unless the opponent squats, ducks, or submarines. That's false. And it's what makes this false. It's not may not. It must be in advance. Number 5, mouthpieces. That is true. So we are not enforcing that mouthpiece rule until next year. So all the manufacturers get to sell all their mouthpieces this year. If a substitute or replace player influence plays, it is illegal participation. That is true. Catching is always preceded by touching the ball. Thus, if touching causes the ball to become dead, securing possession of the ball has no significance. That's true. I finally thought of one. All right. Out of bounds player touching the ball, then catching the ball. Doesn't matter if they catch it or not. It's out of bounds. The ball's dead. Knew a play would come. Referee's decision to forfeit a game is final. That is true. And then a player no longer defenseless once the player's physical position and focus of concentration no longer makes the player especially vulnerable to injury. That's true. When in doubt, they remain a defenseless player. All right, so like if somebody's catching a catch and they turn, and as they turn, they get hit, they get targeted, then the ball comes out. Since they're a defenseless player, what's the result of the play? Incomplete pass. All right, so when in doubt, they're a defenseless player. When in doubt, catch or no catch, wipe it out, incomplete pass. Protect those defenseless players. State association may not establish guidelines to use running clock. That is false. They can. In Nebraska, ours is 35 points second half. And where are we at on time? 17 minutes, good. When a forward fumble goes out of bounds or is ruled out of bounds between goal lines, the ball shall be returned to the spot of the fumble. New rule, that is true. And wind the clock, referees. All right, so that we're going to wind the clock. Player who is attempting to pass is a runner until the player gives up possession of the ball by losing control of the ball. That is true. A new force can be added to a kick in flight. That is false. All right, it will remain a kick during a down B1 if B1 holds and then B2 commits an unsportsmanlike act. Only one foul can be penalized. That's false. Both are going to be penalized because one of them is an unsportsmanlike conduct foul. 15, if a substitute enters the huddle, replaced player does not leave the field immediately. Dead ball foul, illegal participation, false, illegal substitution. When it says immediately, how long is immediately? 3 seconds. All right, they have 3 seconds to communicate. In high school, can they break the huddle with 12 if it's before the expiration of those 3 seconds? Yes, they can. 16, each team shall designate a player as field captain, and the field captain is the only player who may communicate with the game officials. By rule, true. Use your best judgment of who you need to communicate to keep things under control. The referee shall have the authority to correct obvious errors in timing by the play clock if the discovery is prior to snap. That is true, but any official can bring the referee information. Team B player may grasp or hold an opponent in an effort to clear a path for a teammate. Pull and shoot is illegal. That is false. Batting is touching of a loose ball by a player in an unsuccessful attempt to secure possession. All right, that is false. That's the definition of a muff. And then the last one, when people came in, effective 2026, arm sleeves, whether attached to a shirt or unattached. Arm sleeve rules 2027. All right, so you don't have to worry about that this year or next year. So what we are going to do right now, I am going to jump to save and finish. Confirm you have answered 50 out of 50. We're going to submit test answers. We're going to see, I hope. Let's see, home. Is this maybe why it did it? Did it because I'm logging in again?
No.
Oh. So we're going to go to account information. We're going to go football. I am a C, so I pass, so that's good. All right, so if you review this video, you're going to get a 50 out of 50. Feel free to contact me if there's specific questions. Contact a friend if there's questions. But that's how you figure out if you got 100%. So just a reminder before we end the live meeting, those of you who are here, if you do have plays that you have questions on, well, I got Huddle Up. We could go over plays. But we did post, obviously, if you're at the YouTube channel already, you already know this. But videos, we did post NFHS training tape number 3 on scoring kicks. I think there's 5 plays on scoring kicks, and I try to cover every single rule I possibly can on these 5 plays. So I know I'm challenging my college crew this week just on scoring kicks, whether it be PAT or field goals, is what is our specific mechanics. I still think free kicks, now scoring kicks this week, next week punts, we don't get a lot of reps at that as an official. All right, so really, really focus. What is my mechanic in my position on this scoring kick? All right, so really focus on that. So thanks for taking time out with PSOA Live. And then those of you who are in the room, I got a couple plays we could show here, and we could keep on asking questions. So officials, remember, you're only as good as your last call.